How's it going, you guys? And welcome back to another episode of What's on Our Screen podcast. I am Elio Ramos, and I'm accompanied by my cousin Javier, the man Rivera.
That's a lot of energy for almost 3 o'clock.
Yeah, man,
So
I'm pumped. I'm hyped. I always get excited to do the podcast, but mainly because I get to talk to you. We get to talk about things that we love and enjoy, and we're passionate about these
yeah,
things. And so, I mean,
yeah, we talk every day. So
yeah. Well, I mean, we
for
talk
me,
pretty
it's
much.
like that's like
He doesn't mean it.
whatever.
He loves it. He loves it. That's his way. That's his way of saying I love you too. Anyways, so excited for you guys to be here because we got some things to talk about. But first, we're gonna start off with some trailers. Primo, tell me about the Ozark. 'Cause Ozark is about to come out. It's about to drop. What, April? Right? Tell me about that trailer. What you
April 29th. It
April?
gave us I think the last. I don't know how many episodes it's gonna be, but I
Mm,
think it's six or seven.
yeah,
So this is the end game for the Ozark, and I like what I saw. There's a lot of shooting.
a lot of bang bang.
Yeah, a lot of bang bang, and I, I guess that's natural for the way the last season ended. So so,
Yeah,
so I'm excited for it. I can't wait. I'm gonna miss this show a lot when it's over. But yeah, it's been a hell of a ride. April 29th, I think 7 episodes. Um, let's see what happens to this crazy family.
yeah. I concur. I had goosebumps as soon as I finished the trailer. I had goosebumps because the last part of season 4, part 1, was just powerful. You know, like they were they were upping up the ante, or upping up the ante. I can't say that right, but they it was intense. Okay, it was intense, and the stakes were high and everything. And I like how they were slowly closing the doors on a lot of like storylines and stuff like that. And they did such a great job with it too. And I'm like, whoa, like this is pretty intense. And then I see the trailer of next season, or the next part, and it's just like they took it to another extreme. Like it feels like it just feel like two completely different shows almost, because the energy of that trailer, and just like the darkness of it, and these characters find themselves in this very dark predicament. It's almost it's a testament to that saying that's like, it's always darker before dawn. It's always darkest before dawn, kind of thing. And this trailer really represented that, because you just see them in the worst scenario ever, and they're trying to like get themselves out. And for anybody who hasn't seen the first part, this is going to be a little spoiler, but they get themselves in the situation where they're almost out of the game. Like they're right there about to get out scot free and clean, but then things get flipped on their heads, as they do, because a new player has entered the realm, and it's the cartel's nephew, and he just starts to stir stuff up. Like he just goes ham, and he's a pawn, but he doesn't quite know it. And in this process, he's just making everything worse for our main characters, for the family. And so it's this last part is shaping up to be something really, really good, and I have confidence in them that they're going to be able to stick the landing and make it something powerful, you know. So
Hmm.
I got, I'm excited for it. I'm excited, and I'm glad that it didn't take that long for it to come out.
Yeah,
You know, it feels like I watched the first part not too long ago, and so now having this
it
part.
wasn't not too long ago.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't. It feels like it
Yeah,
wasn't. You know, sometimes Netflix just drops things, and they just.
I just hope they don't introduce new characters into this new season, and let's
Yes.
wrap up
Yeah. Let's wrap
because
it up.
because last season they closed the door on Darlene and
Mm-hmm.
her young husband, and that kind of enthralls the I forgot her name. Anyway, she goes on a bang bang revenge
Yeah.
a trip. So yeah, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah. No, and it's I appreciate short stories like this that are it's a 4 seasons. It's meaty. It's juicy.
5 seasons.
Is it 5 seasons?
Five or
What?
4.
Well, I saw 4 seasons. I think it's like they split season four
Yeah,
into two parts.
yeah, it
So
is.
it feels like a whole other season, and that's justified because of that trailer. It just has a completely different vibe from part one, but it's just been 4 seasons, and that's it. Like it's at the end. So I appreciate that they were able to tell a masterful story up to this point, and it's such a short season. I think more shows are gonna pick up or adopt this kind of thing where it's a limited kind of short series run, but it's so meaty, you know. And from there, you could do spin-offs if you want, but I think I think these short format storytelling is gonna be the sweet spot for television now. So um,
Oh, that's the I think the way FX does it usually when you're gonna pitch a show to them, it's gonna be like, okay, this is the beginning. Where's the ending?
mhm,
You know,
yeah.
they don't want long ass tail shows unless it's a comedy and merits it. But usually their shows are 3 or 4 season and that's it.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, I'm just glad that people are adopting. I just want a good story, you know, and this one
Even in
really
England,
delivers.
England is United Kingdom is like that. The TV shows are
That's true.
finite. Yeah,
Sherlock Holmes. I remember when it was like out on Netflix. It was like season one, and I go in there. It's just one episode. I was like, what? What is this? And it's like an hour and 30 minutes. It's like season
there's a
one.
movie.
It's a movie. Like, what do you? Why? Why is this season one? And I
Usually
think,
there's 3 episodes of like 3 movies,
yeah,
and
it's okay. That's just a new, you know, I think that's where America's gonna head to. You know, like each season is a movie or two or three movies, and that's it. It's like,
yeah,
dang it. Because everything keeps getting shorter and shorter and shorter, like as far as episodes go. So, but I'm excited. I'm stoked. I'm really pumped for it. So, next trailer, um, is that I got a chance to see is Top Gun. Maverick, is it? Top Gun Maverick?
yeah,
Yeah. So I
yeah.
watched the trailer that just recently dropped, and it hits you in the feels because you see Tom Cruise reprising that this role of Maverick. That's his call sign, and you get to see him fly again and everything like that. And that's Tom Cruise 100% in that jet fly. Well, he's not flying it. The Navy would not let him fly, but he's in that cockpit and he's doing all those maneuvers. Yeah, he actually wanted to fly it, and the Navy was like, "No, you're no. You could be in the cockpit and everything like that. Pretend like you're flying this thing." But he demanded that everybody go through the training, and so every actor that was in there that got into the cockpit, you know, they had to perform and they had to feel the G's and stuff like that. So that way, when they're doing the flight scenes, they can like really react to it. So anything that's up in the air and flying and you see him upside down, that's Tom Cruise in there. So if the missile hit the jet in the movie and blows up, pretty confident that's Tom Cruise blowing up with the jet. So that's how committed he is. But yeah, it seems like the story is going to be about his Goose, his former partner in the first movie. His son
Uh,
has
yeah, Miles Teller.
yeah, he becomes a fighter jet pilot as well, and so he goes up through the ranks. And it seems like Maverick is now, instead of getting kicked out or discharged or whatever because he's such a rebel, um, he gets called upon to become a teacher and teach this elite class of jet fighters to be even more elite and high end, and prep them for what's to come and how to think different or whatever, or think more like Maverick. So it's kind of like the first movie essentially. It's like rinse and repeat a little bit, but now Maverick's on the other side of things and he's teaching them, and now he's teaching Goose's son as well, and so there's some dynamic there. So it seems like it's just a feel good nostalgic movie. I don't see like it's gonna be like this dynamic, story, like gut wrenching story. I think it's just gonna be like, oh, that's cool to see this character come back to, like, oh yeah, that's Goose's son. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's. I didn't get like, oh, I wasn't like, oh yeah, I got to see this because of the story. It's more like I would love to see this in IMAX because of the sound. The sound effects of the jets and go, like love to hear it in that Dolby Atmos sound. But other than that, it's just kind of like, huh, cool. We get to see it, and I don't know. I just hope they don't tarnish the character. You know, like mess him up or anything like that. Like I hope that they stay true
Oh,
to.
clearly they haven't done much for the character because he's still a man child doing the same things as 30 years ago.
Well, then there
He
you
hasn't
go.
matured one jack shit,
Yeah,
and now he's just like, "Oh, we gotta call that rebel in." He's an old guy, just like, "Oh, come on."
bro, you should have been retired like 16 years ago. It's like I'm a
Yeah,
Maverick. I
he's
say
still
when I
driving
retire.
that. He's still driving that motorcycle on the air and the where the on the airways and
Yeah,
the
airstrip.
airstrip.
Yeah,
Yeah, come on. It's just like you did it once. It's not gonna be you doing it all the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
You get bored of that.
yeah. And I
Oh, they're
don't.
gonna go play volleyball again at the beach too?
Yeah, it's a feel good trip, man. That's all it is. Nostalgia, just one
I
after
feel like
another.
a rip-off, and for nostalgia, it's just a rip-off. Hey, you wanna see Tom Cruise on a motorcycle racing in a jet? Yeah, sure. Here it is.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
it should be good. I think it's definitely like a visual experience as far as like the jet fighting and stuff like that goes. And now we have better technology, better sound system, better equipment to capture those type of moments. And I think it'll be a great experience in IMAX. Other than that, I don't think it's gonna be like a big spectacle or anything.
I don't think it's gonna win the Oscars or anything.
Yeah, no. And speaking of which, a little
Oh,
sidebar,
please,
a little
no, let's not
sidebar,
do
a little
it.
sidebar.
Come on, everybody
We
has an opinion on that already. We don't have to put
listen,
ours in there.
listen. Homeboy got slapped, okay? Chris Rock got slapped in live television, you know, and this has blown up the internet, and everybody's been like, everybody's been like on two sides. Is it real? Is it fake? So it's like the other day I saw this blow up 8K resolution still shot of this after the slap, and it shows that Chris Rock has like a print right here, and they're calling that like a slap what is it, like a slap protector,
Uh-huh.
and it was covered up in makeup and stuff like that right there on the face right where he got slapped. So they're like, see, it's clearly staged, it's clearly staged. Like, oh my god, people, they're just, it's insane what this has done, you know. And the other day, like, I saw this video of Jim Carrey coming out, and he was like totally against the slap and
Yeah.
the actions and stuff like that.
Oh,
Now
wait. So we're calling it the slap. It's like the snap from
that's
Thanos, but
that's it's like the slap watched all around the world. That's kind of like what it is. Like everybody saw and felt that, you know, and
yeah.
that's the only
It's
reason why the Oscars anybody watched the Oscars after that point, because I want to see who else was gonna get hit. So if I had known growing up that to win an Academy Award, all you had to do was just slap somebody, people's faces would be red right now. Okay, several people's faces would be red, just like because my goodness, that was insane. And the fact that he won an Academy Award afterwards, that's wowzers, wowzers.
yeah, I think this Sunday's slap or whatever it's a conspiracy now. I think it's gonna go above JFK or something like that.
Oh my
So like
goodness.
Will Smith slap JFK, you know? So yeah, I don't care really.
Yeah, it's
Really don't. I just it looked like a man who was who had mental problems. That's that that's all it looked like. He needs help, and
yeah.
I think he needs to divorce somebody.
Yeah, he does. He needs to straight up divorce his wife and just he needs some alone time. He needs to take like a quick break because afterwards, like you don't go on stage, slap somebody, win the award, and just like be all copacetic about it. Like everybody was cool
No,
with it.
not copacetic. He was like, "I am God's vessel in this world."
You're right. You're right. You're right. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. No, I was talking about the after party, but you're absolutely right. Like, bro,
No, the other party started getting jiggy with it.
that's
Like
yeah,
he didn't care.
exactly.
So
But you're absolutely right. Like after he slaps somebody, he goes on stage, wins the award, and And it's like
That's
God is
raw
work
right there.
God is working through me. It's like God's upstairs, like, bro. No, 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 no. You leave me out of this. I flipped some tables. I didn't hit anybody, okay? I just flipped tables. Okay. And I got crucified for that. You slapped somebody, they gave you a award. No, 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 no. We're not the
Innovation.
same.
Innovation.
We're not the same, bro. Yeah, no, it was crazy, man. It was so crazy. And I just, and he was talking about love and peace, and love is going to flow through him, and he's a portal for love or whatever. Or, it's like, bro, everything that you're saying holds no water. Essentially, like, it has no weight to it. You just lost all credibility. You just slapped somebody.
I want to say that somebody rewrote that speech in record time.
Yeah.
It made it more. It's like maybe the original speech was before the slap was him being humble and all that shit,
Yeah.
and the next one, the rewrite was like made him like he's some kind of god, and he's come down to earth to open a portal to release love to the world. That's what I heard.
Man, he's
Robbed the plot from Ghostbusters. Jack. Oh
Oh man, that's the new one. That's the new Ghostbusters movie. Will
yeah.
Smith ghost busting ghosts. Oh my goodness, yeah, man. That was just it was 100% uncalled for, and so but that's the crazy thing. It's got people divided because a lot of
Why are people divided?
well, for several reasons. One, they're saying that it's justified. You can't make fun of somebody's wife and just be like, not and take that to the chin. You got to stand up for your woman. You got to go over there and show.
They're actors.
Yeah, I agree. And then other people are like on the other side of that. It's
He
like,
was
no,
laughing at the joke.
he
It's
totally
just when
was.
he saw the wife, it's like, oh, this is gonna be a badass ride back home. Let me go do something
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly, exactly, man, exactly. No, and that's what ended up happening, man. But it's totally crazy, dude. And that's the other thing. A part of me is like, let them fight. Let those freaking kaiju fight themselves and let them eat themselves up and just destroy themselves, because that's what they've created. That's the toxicity that they've created over there in Hollywood. That all the all the wokeness, all the politicizing of all these situations, and just going after each other and going after people, like, and they're so detached from the world because they're living up here, so, and they claim this higher status, but then, one assaults the other. It's kind of like, yeah, that's fine. Let them kill each other, like, whatever. That's
Yeah,
and killing is like,
Hollywood is like that.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, they're trying to like kill other people's careers. Like, it's like like the young girl who just did Catwoman. Um, um,
Kravitz daughter?
Kravitz, yeah, Kravitz's daughter. Yeah, she was like, she was posting some things on Instagram about like, here's my dress where we at the Academy Awards where we just casually go up and slap people in the face. I'm paraphrasing, but and then she's like, here we are in the here's my dress in the after party of the Academy Awards where we win awards and casually slap people in the face, and so like everybody's like trying to cancel her now, bringing up like old stuff from her past. When
Oh,
she
Will
worked.
Smith too. They brought back old stuff from Will Smith, like an interview he did where he made fun of a bald guy, and the audience started apparently booing or something. And he's like, "Oh, it's only a joke." So
Yeah, oh, I didn't see that, but that's
yeah.
interesting. So there's like double standards. So it's like, again,
Even Chris Rock, there was a video of him and he was joking with Louis C.K. and he and Louis C.K. were using the N word very casually.
hmm
People were like, "Oh, he deserved the slap because of this," and you're like, "No, yeah." I mean, there was a lot of people there. It was Ricky Gervais, was Jerry Seinfeld in there. Jerry Seinfeld was like the only adult in the room. It was like, we should stop using this word.
yeah,
Like, it's not gonna help anybody here.
yeah. It's gonna come back and bite us in the
Yeah,
butt.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They try to cancel Jerry Seinfeld a couple times, and that just never stuck. He's
No,
clean.
it doesn't suck. Well, he could be whatever, but it's just people have their favorites, and it's just like
hmm
It's like Superman when they shoot on him, and you like blam blam everything. Like people love Jerry Seinfeld for whatever reason it is, and the show is always in syndication. It's like, no, you're not gonna cancel like
Yeah. No, it's
unless he killed somebody or And Will Smith is the same thing.
mm-hmm.
It's like he's immune to that because of who he is in our zeitgeist, and all his positivity with all these decades and stuff.
Yeah.
But without counting these last couple of years where he got just live shows for him are not good.
Yeah. No, they have not been good. They have not been
Yeah,
good.
so that's why you should go to a desert and eat some mushrooms and
Yeah. Just go.
communicate with spirits again and ask God if he's really a vessel
Yeah.
or not.
It's like, no, man, I was telling you, go to a vessel, go to like a boat or something. Like,
Yeah,
always
go
misinterpreting.
fishing. Can you imagine that deity has problems speaking? He's like, he's shy like that lawyer in my cousin Vinny who can't.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine the deity trying to speak? You can what?
Oh man, yeah. No, poor Will Smith, dude. He's lost it, man.
Do you think they're gonna make an auto like a movie about this?
They probably in one of their bios. It'll probably be in Will Smith's bio. Chris Rock.
I hope they make it like 24. The whole day they're just counting down like somebody at some famous people stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
Like dong dong dong. Like use all the 24 fonts.
Yeah.
And Jack Bauer tried to stop the slap because
Oh yeah, it's like cling, cling. Yeah, the timer and everything like that. Yeah. No, I was telling my mom about it. I was like, oh yeah, so Chris Rock got slapped, and she's like, wait a second. So that like when I'm telling the story, the whole entire time she thought it was like The Rock. Like I was talking about like The Rock, and I was like, no, 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 no. Will Smith wouldn't even make
yeah,
that.
no,
It just wouldn't happen. Like he would just I think he would just be like he'll tap and be like, hey man, I didn't appreciate the joke and
I
it,
think Chris Rock, Tyrese, um, some other lower rappers, maybe he could slap. He would go slap
yeah.
on on the on stage, but The Rock, I don't think he's
Yeah.
gonna. Mike Tyson, he's not crazy enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if Mike Tyson sees that hand moving that way,
Oh
his
man.
hands are.
Yeah. And that would be like the true like Mike Tyson versus Muhammad Ali,
Yeah.
because obviously Will Smith played that character, so that's we will finally know. But yeah, man, it was crazy. I was stuck to Twitter the whole entire night. I couldn't let go. I went to bed like so super late just to see what was gonna happen. Because I honestly thought that after the commercial break after it happened, they were probably gonna escort him. And then come to find out that video emerges where everybody's got like consoling him, like, oh, your poor hand, I'm praying for your hand, it looked like it really hurt your hand, is your hand okay? And I was like, the hell are y'all doing? Like this man assaulted somebody. Everybody's consoling the person that did the assaulting. It's like,
I think Denzel Washington, you can't hear him, but Denzel Washington's holding him on the shoulder. He's like, dude, I I built I paved the road
yeah,
for you to get an Oscar, and this is how you repay me.
yeah, man, I would be upset too, dude, 100%, man. But yeah,
Yeah, imagine Denzel Washington was like mafia or something like that.
I believe it. I totally believe it. He's super kind. He goes to the hood a couple times, just like hanging out with people. He's just like super friendly and kind to
Yeah,
everybody. Just that's like the mob boss. And he played a mob boss in
yeah, he
um
played a couple.
yeah,
American Gangster.
yeah, American Gangster. That's a really good movie. That's a really good movie. But it's just yeah, that would totally fit. And he just played Macbeth. And I don't know what that has to do with anything, but Macbeth is pretty gangster. So
Oh,
so I'm just saying. It's
Okay, we kind of went to conspiracies here, like now,
we
and so
yeah.
now Denzel Washington is like Godfather. He's like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, we'll just we'll leave it there. But let's switch gears into because there's no real good segue to this. There's just not. There's just there's nothing good about this
I
segue.
just have a question. So
Okay, go ahead.
you really hate the show,
Oh, I despise it with every fiber of my being.
but you're willing to submit yourself for another 8 weeks
Yes.
of torture.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show that I'm confident that all of you know that we're about to talk about is Halo. Let me say that again. Halo. Okay. So the second episode of Halo dropped, and my God, do they double down on the suck? They just like double down super hard on the suck. All right. For all of you who played the game, this is not your show. This is not your show. Don't bother to watch it. I'm going to watch it and I'm going to talk about it this whole entire time because I have to. I have no other choice but to do it because I got Paramount Plus specifically for this show. For no other show, but for this show. And they've managed, like there's something that I know for a fact that writers don't wake up every day and go to a writer's room and just like, I'm going to write a crappy show today. Like, none of them do that. Not a single one. But I can't help but feel that on this show, that's exactly what they did. They woke up, it's like, how can I destroy this franchise? How can I go far and beyond and just completely do something opposite of what's good about this franchise? And they go out of their way to write an abomination. Like I just don't understand how they can. So like I would be okay if somewhat okay if the story was good. Like if it had good story structure and establishing and all that stuff, but it doesn't quite even have that. So it's weak at that point. I would be willing to acknowledge like, oh yeah, this is solid story structure, but it's not quite there. They're trying to establish this character as this rigid, military person that doesn't have any emotions or anything like that, and they're not quite executing on that. But then on top of that, I think as a writer, when you're adapting something, you have your first priority is not about what can I do? Like how can I implement myself into this story to make it my own? That's not your job. Okay? When you're adapting, that's not your job at all. Your job is to bring it to life, to adapt it to another medium so that way you could tell that its story. You could tell its story and bring it to the masses, right? You're just a vessel, and when you do that well, people praise you as a brilliant writer because you were able to translate it well. And that's your job as a writer. It's just to translate and this is when you're adapting it. That your job is to translate the material into something that people can digest and enjoy and be entertained. But when you can't do the basic fundamentals of what writing a TV, screen, movie, whatever writer you are, if you can't do those fundamental basic things, then you're failing. 100% failing because now you're trying to adapt something. You're trying to eat it and digest it and regurgitate it and make it and like, oh, this is mine. And everybody is so determined on putting their stamp on something that is not theirs. And this show is a clear indication of that. Like they have no idea of what Master Chief is, what the Halo franchise is, what the community is about. They don't even care about any of that stuff. They're just throwing things in there just because they like, oh, I feel the character would be this way, so we're gonna make him this way. No, that's not how you do it. When you get assigned an essay when you're in school and stuff like that, and you have to follow this topic, you get graded on how much of the material you're able to follow and everything like that, and really talk about that topic. Not be like, this is what I feel the topic is about, and put like burgers in there when it's clearly about Athens, Rome and stuff like that. Like, what? Oh, I just feel like they would eat burgers and all this stuff back then. It's like, no, they didn't. They ate like pizza and whatnot, which is a true thing. That's where pizza originated. I digress. The thing is that these writers are not doing their due diligence, and so for this episode, they double down as humankind is bad. All humankind is bad. Everybody's bad, and especially the government of the U.S. UNSC. They are like the ultimate evil across all planets of mankind, and they're the ones who brought like all this chaos to the galaxy. And it and let's forget about like the covenant that's killing all of mankind and thinks mankind is a scourge and is just a just the lowest form of like sentient being. Let's forget about that. Man is evil. And so and I bet they're justifying it because like, oh, because of our times, and you can identify with humankind. You can't really identify with these creatures. It's like that's not the point. The point is that these things have been established for such a long time. But okay, mankind is bad. Fine. And so now we follow Master Chief, who like, I get it. He revealed himself, and now he's a guy who's walking around with this briefcase, mind you, that's this big, is humongous, and he's Master Chief is like a military tactician. Like that's his priority is military, trying to like make sure that he's prepped for any situation. So what does he do? He goes into a hostile territory that he's not familiar with, but his best friend that they established at the beginning of the episode runs the facility, or is well known in the facility. They don't really establish that. And then he appears, and he takes off his helmet, and like an idiot, because these people are hostile, right? Because there's no law and order in this place. There's no law and order. People are free to do whatever they want. So at any given point, they can shoot Master Chief because there's so much resentment against the Spartans, because they clearly established that in the first episode. What does Master Chief do? Not only does he carry this big ass briefcase, he carries his big ass helmet around, and he's walking like this. At no point can he defend himself. But hey, you know what? At least we get to see Master Chief's facial expressions and his emotions and how he feels about certain situations. Why? Because his facial expressions. Because we're making Master Chief a human. Come on, guys. Like I don't know whose thought it was. Like I don't know if it was the actor that was like, "Listen, guys,
Oh wait,
I can't."
oh wait, he wasn't. Master Chief is not a human.
No, because he has human emotions. They're trying to humanize him, because Master Chief is like
Okay, okay.
he's like robotic,
What the hell did I play with you?
Yeah. No, like
I thought you were
because
cyborg.
they're trying to make him like, human. And so the thing is that like I don't know whose idea it was for him to just walk around without his helmet the whole entire time. I don't know if one can easily blame the writing team, right? It's like 100% the writing team's fault, because it starts there and then trickles down, right? But then it could also be blamed on the director, because the director doesn't know how to direct a human being in a suit, doesn't know how to give them orders or anything like that, or how to give them inflections like, hey, listen, you need to do it like this, use your body a little bit more. Or last, it ends with the actor. The actor doesn't know how to act and do body language acting. Like he doesn't know how to physically maneuver his body and give emotional afflections and stuff like that. So what? He needs to take off his helmet. Like whose idea it was, I don't know, but it just shows a lack of ability in all three accounts. It really does. When the thing is that who you see on screen is the actor, so immediately you blame him, because it's like, oh, he can't act with a helmet on, so he's just kind of like, he's a kind of so-so actor. And I've seen this guy act. Like he's really good. He's talented. But in this show, it's like he can't perform as, he's unbelievable. Like I don't believe him as Master Chief. Like he totally fails in the situation, because he doesn't have he has his helmet off throughout the whole entire episode. And then on top of that, there's like a scene where he walks into his best friend's house that he hasn't seen for years, and for some reason he now knows exactly where he's at. Um, and so he shows up at his house, meets his wife, which is just random, just random people. Um, and then he walks in with his full suit, and then cuts to another scene, and he doesn't have his suit on. And be like, oh well, he took off his suit, but like, damn, like that, like, is it a button? What is it? Like he just Like took it off like that, like bam, and now I'm completely naked. On top of that, like they might as well just have Master Chief running around the rest of the show naked, just naked, no clothes, 100% dick out, everything. Just let's go, because they're tarnishing the show. They really are. They're like destroying the character, and it's and it's not even. So this whole entire episode, they fly away and they establish this other, like location where there's no rules, everything goes, it's fair game, just to tell Master Chief, hey, the item that you have is from the Covenant and they really need it. It's like, well, no shit. Like that's you established that in the first episode. Like as soon as he touched it, there were Covenant aliens around it. They were excavating for it. Like we get that. We didn't need a whole other episode to take us to this planet so you can just explain to us that hey, this is from the Covenant and they need it. Duh. Like we know that. Like, and he's like, oh, okay. Well, I need to go tell the government, the people that I work for, that this is important. And so he flies back and gets arrested. It's like, what? Like that's really that's what you're doing. Like yeah, that's what you call storytelling. That's what you call story structure. And that's good to you. Like, oh man, this is great. Like, wait until you guys see what happens in episode 2. He flies away. This weird guy tells him what it is, and then he comes back and gets arrested. It's oh my god, man. And then I read somebody on Twitter. He posted like the female character for the Covenant. He was like, I'm really concerned because I think that this female character is gonna take the role of the not the Arbiter, the weapon that is like the Arbiter is the badass character for the Covenant. That's almost like identical to Master Chief. You know, like that's his real main villain throughout the game. I think only until episode the third game is when the Arbiter becomes like friends with him because they abandoned him because Master Chief beat him up and stuff like that. And so I think that this girl. So the plot there is that the Covenant is abducting humans and converting them because humans are the key to the rings, an ancient technology beyond them that they know about, and suddenly humans are the key to this. And Master Chief, mind you, is one of these keys now. It's just like in the video game, he wasn't like the key to anything. He was just like the guy who was willing to like bite his teeth, grin and bear its go, and he couldn't stop. Like that was his mission. Like your mission is to save mankind from these aliens that are trying to destroy it, and they're trying to use this weapon, the Halo, and trying to kill all mankind, all that jazz. It's like, okay, let me go do that. And that's what he did. Now they're trying to like humanize him and make him like this special person, and it's like that's the beauty of Master Chief. He wasn't special. He just yeah, he's a special like super soldier. He's a super soldier, but it wasn't like a special thing. He became part of this program. Yeah, he lost his memory. It's kind of tragic, all that stuff. Granted, but like there's nothing. He could die. He could easily die, just like everybody else. There's nothing, and so they're trying to make him into this special entity. It just man, it's just really bad. It's so bad. Like the development, the dialogue, the structure. Oh man, and everything from like the audio. So this show is on Dolby Atmos, right? And it's not even it's probably one of the worst Dolby Atmos experiences that I've had. Only second to the Witcher, the animated movie that came out on Netflix. That Dolby Atmos was atrocious. That was just like really bad Dolby Atmos because the balancing that they did on it, the background noise is so high, and the effects are so high that the dialogue is so low. So I'm hearing Master Chief like, "Hey guys, what are you doing, guys? What's up, guys? Hey, and the audio, like all the surrounding sound effects are like super close, and they're like, "Hey, boom, boom," like all these explosions and whatnot. Like it's so terrible. So I'm like, I'm raising it up, and my Dolby Atmos system is like, dude, we're giving you everything we got. Like it's not our fault. We can't. There's nothing we could do. This is how they balance it. It's so bad. So the whole show, it just looks so cheap, and it's like I'm watching it on like CBS or something, like on the TV, like a TV network. It's like a TV network show. there's no edge to it. There's it doesn't feel like it's a streaming show. Like if it was made for streaming or even Showtime for that matter, there's no edge. It's just like really, it's dull. It's flat. It's such a poorly done show from all aspects, and like the performances of these actors are so mediocre. The graphics are really cheap. The Covenant in this episode looked decent, but that's about the only thing that I like about the shows is how the Covenant looks. Other than that, it's an abysmal show, and I honestly think that they've gone out of their way to really ruin this franchise just for the sake of what having their identity on there. This is what their legacy is going to be. These writers and this whole production, this is going to be the legacy on it. Like everybody's going to be like, "Yo, you suck because you did this." But then again, they said that about a bunch of other writers, and you're only as good as your next project. So there's still hope for them. They might make another project, and they'll probably learn from this. It's like, huh, maybe I shouldn't put myself into this. Maybe I should just adapt things and just breathe life to it. Because you get celebrated more if you just breathe life into something and let it be what it is, instead of trying to like influence your own emotional perspectives and ideas and everything into something that doesn't even belong to you, that you have no association with. You're just the person that was pinned to do it. Like, hey, go make this, bringing this to life. And shame on those people for like the higher ups, like all those producers, all those head honchos, just to green like this and be like, yeah, this is good. Shame on you guys for my god. And this is only the second episode. It's just gonna keep going down. And I'm here for the long haul. I'm gonna watch this whole entire thing, and you guys don't have to, because I'm gonna watch it for you, and you guys are gonna, yeah. So, but anyway, that's my
Damn, that was a long rant.
yeah. That's
I
it.
went, got water, peed,
Yeah.
came back, had a snack, and you still ranting about
That's
the show.
Man, it's just so bad. Like you don't. It's just I don't understand why people are like, why, like why is there that need to like put your stamp on something when it's not yours? Create your own thing.
What's yours? Is theirs? They have a job to bring the show to life.
Exactly, just to
But
life. It's not their job
the
to
the thing
put
is that
like put their. It's not. It's an
it's many things.
adaptation.
Really. It's yeah, it's an adaptation, but it's still many things. It's like it's how do I say? For you to make Halo, you need money. So this show just looks under budget
Mm,
and understaffed, and it's just they don't have the money. They made it for I bet they made it for CBS or something. At one time, it was for this show was stuck in hell, and then it was they recorded this show a couple years ago, and it's still been like in a drawer somewhere in Paramount. That's what they thought about the show, and there's a lot of shows like that that some people take a swing at a pilot and it doesn't work. And this one, because Halo, it got greenlit, and apparently it was a development hell for a long time. But this is a show that should be for Amazon, for Apple, or for one of these high HBO, something like that,
mm.
that have the budget to it, and how to knows how to these type of high end type of concepts, like just give the like foundation, just give the budget of foundation and put into Halo.
Yeah,
Remember, this was one time was going to be a movie, and Peter Jackson was going to be a producer on it.
yeah.
They filmed, I think, a couple of stuff, and they did a lot of stuff, and they turned into District 9.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that people, one of the arguments I was hearing on the internet is from somebody is that they're not adapting the game. They're adapting the books and the lore and stuff like that. So because if you adapt the game, you already know the story. So because you already seen it or played it. So like that's kind of boring. But at the same time, I haven't seen none of these trailers that look good. Just cheap version, and I don't think they have the technology to do it like Disney does with Mandalorian and the book of Boba Fett and stuff like that. If
Yeah.
they had something like the volume, that sound stage that you can
Mm-hmm.
create, film stuff like that, is the only way you can do Halo justice or, you know.
Yeah.
But right now it just looks like it's like I said last week, it's like when NBC decided to do Constantine,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, oh yeah, you neutered the show just because it's on NBC.
Yeah.
You just neutered everything from what the show is, the hard edge, the demons, the
Mm-hmm.
how dark it can be. Just it's on NBC, so yeah, that's
Yeah.
so
That's it. Yeah.
so this is the same thing. There was Showtime doesn't do high end type of shows like that. No. So
Yeah. No, I totally feel you, but it's just again, it's it's one of those things that just their approach because I feel like you could totally make a compelling story with something that's already been established, like with Halo and everything because there's so many like nuances in between like the video games and stuff like that and even getting to the Halo, because there's just so much that you could
they're
tell.
calling it Halo, and they haven't arrived at Halo.
Yeah, like there's so many elements in there. There's so many ways that you could tell the story. Like it's from the video game. Just take a lot of that material from there.
Yeah.
You don't, and that's the beauty of it. And this is where this is where they show their lack of ability as storytellers, as creative storytellers. Is because they can't. They're like, oh, that story's been told, so they don't have the creativity and the know how to adapt that story, alter it, change it, and make it into like a real compelling and energetic story that
It
still
feels like a
ties true.
prequel to the video games in some form. 'Cause it's not even the Master Chief from the video game. It's like a pre-Master Chief, like, in the first Halo when he wakes up and just goes to action,
Yeah,
and later on, his sort but this one feels like it's a prequel of some sort.
yeah. I think that's it. I think what they're trying to do with this is tell a story where how mankind is so divided. It's completely divided and stuff like that, and how the Spartans were viewed and everything. And then it's
Apparently,
it's Master
looks
Chief that
like
brings them all together, kind of thing. And
apparently, it's the military was a lot of the stuff they did very bad stuff to the humans too, like, so I think I read somewhere that it's part of one of the books, like, all the weird stuff they did and how humans view the MCNN, something like that, the military, the Space Marines.
mm,
Uh, I don't know. Anyway, it's just I don't know. They could have been more creative
yeah,
and
I
with a
think
bang.
I think they're I think they set a precedent with this first episode. I think they had an opportunity to really, had they established it where like this is where we're at now currently, right? And you see Master Chief with Cortana, and you give the fans everything that like we've wanted, just to see like put us in a big battle and everything like that, and then maybe they're going after the key. Maybe they're going after the key and they're trying to acquire it. It got away from them, and we just see the whole battle. And it's Master Chief in this moment. Maybe he touches the key again, and it takes us. That key is our connection between the past and the present. You're telling two stories simultaneously, it just takes us back. But everything that leads up to that moment, and like take us, establish that grit first, and we're like, how do we get to this point, kind of thing? Because then what they like moments like revealing the mask, it should have been something that had so much weight to it, because it's the first time we see Master Chief, and then
Yeah,
we see this stubby haired guy that doesn't make sense because he's a military guy, so everybody else is super clean, and yet he has like a beard on, like why? He's in the military, that doesn't flow, that doesn't go, like everybody's clean, like I don't understand why is, like, oh, I want him different. Like what? Like I don't get it. And so it's just like they should have really established it and just really given the fans what they wanted, or just like put us in a moment where we recognize the character that we grew up with, right? And then take us back. because that's exactly what they did in the second episode. They did like a flashback, and and to say that that style of storytelling is weak, it's nonsense because like there it is on the second episode. They're like, here's a flashback because we need to establish this guy. We need to establish him because he's important. And why? I don't know. I just there's just so many there's so many different ways you could have done it and done it a whole lot better. But since they established it so weak in the beginning and they just made mankind the villains right out the gate and they're making them the bad guys, it's just and you have this whole alien race that they just show little nuggets of them. Like, my God, you have a whole freaking alien race to fight and you just choose to put like people are the bad guys. Like, what are you doing? Just
Tells me they don't have money to put the aliens on the screen
yeah,
battling.
that's true. That's true. And
That's about it.
all the producers that will listen to this, they'll be like, "Yes, 100%. He knows what's up," because it's true. You gotta like, bob and weave and just like cut corners there just so that way you can make the
You
money
have to cut
stretch.
corners for do a good action scene at the end.
Yeah.
Usually, you skip out in the middle episodes or in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like every show does it. Even Game of Thrones, you see when you see all these episodes, they're just talking and it's good dialogue and stuff. But they just reserve the money to put it out in
Yeah.
a battle at the end.
No,
But
it's
this, I mean, it's a hard. It's really hard for you to adapt something that's really entrenched in people's heart, like Halo is.
yeah.
It means a lot for a lot of people,
Yeah.
and it's
Well,
like the real time too. It's like just means so much for a lot of people. So even the show did well rating wise. I
oh,
mean, it was top for Amazon Prime. A lot of people love that franchise, so they didn't do it justice. The
I've never read the books, and I could tell you right now that was not a well told story. That was just real poor.
I read the book, and that book was I was reading it, and I was like, "How the fuck is they're gonna adapt this?" Like, because it's constantly moving. It's just your
Yeah.
book to read it, and a really weird ending to it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if this is what Halo's doing, and this is how Halo's being treated by Hollywood, I my expectations for the rumored Mass Effect show, it's just my expectations for that are just really low now. Because
well, there's a Fallout game, a Fallout movie series coming out.
well, Fallout.
Amazon.
I don't really
And
care about Fallout. So, like, a bunch of people who just heard that they're gonna be like, "Well, I'm done with this show." But yeah, I mean, Fallout's great and everything like that. I just don't. I don't.
I don't.
I've
I
never.
really don't like post-apocalyptic shows a lot.
Yeah.
They're Walking Dead. Kind of like tired of that concept.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't.
It has a good cast right now. As Walter Goggins is in the show. I only
Okay.
watch it for him, like from Justified.
I mean, I'll check it out, and we could like talk about it and whatnot. But I don't know. But Mass Effect is up there as like one of my all
Well,
time favorite
it's a
games.
rumored show, but I don't know if anywhere where they haven't announced anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So
The
I
thing that
just.
was just recently was Henry Cavill just having some papers printed out with Mass Effect information on it.
Yeah. He was having a laugh. He was having a laugh.
Yeah, he's
So
trying to move the ball,
yeah. No,
trying to
that's
get into another franchise.
yeah. I mean, I can see him as Shepard. You know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Shave his head. He's got to have the shaved head. I mean,
No, he doesn't.
it's probably like a sin to put Henry Cavill with a
No,
shaved head.
everybody did it their
Shave his
own
head.
version. I never changed the basic characters, but a lot of people just try to make themselves into
Yeah.
Shepard.
They'll probably what they'll do is just give him like a crew cut or something like that, and his hair would be long. But
Yeah.
shave your head, shave it, shave it.
And he doesn't have it shaved. It's just like a number one buzz cut
Yeah,
on it.
it's a buzz cut. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
talking about go bald. No, like let's not be like the Rock. I'm just talking, buzz cut. Like that down, like number one, coitito, bajito. So,
Yeah.
but
Oh.
let's transition over to an actually good show, which
Oh.
which I'm happy I watched it in this order. I watched Halo first, and then I watched Moon Knight second. And but I'm gonna let you take it away. I'm gonna let you
No,
talk
you
about.
go, go, you go.
Oh,
You're
okay,
excited about
okay,
it.
because
You take. I want to
man,
see what you have to say because Moon Knight is a weird character to adapt.
man,
It's because it's a say it's like a it's like when somebody spins you around very fast and you're trying to walk straight,
mm-hmm.
something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, man, where do I start? I think the show is
Well, what
it's
is it's based on a comic book,
yeah.
Moon
Go
Knight
ahead, go ahead.
Marvel.
Yeah.
Um, it was created in I think in the 70s, like Dog Manic and I think Dog Manic is or Dog Mac. Anyway, and Bill Sienkiewicz. It was like a Marvel's version of Batman for some time, and then each time a new creative team came, changed the character. Eventually, we have him now that he has multiple personalities, and plus a god is in his head now, um and he dresses all in white, and he's not trying to hide. He just goes up there and beats people up. And
Yeah.
he has multiple personalities. Like he had different versions of his superhero persona. It's a Moon Knight superhero. Then there's Mister Knight. He's the one who talks to the cops, and he's more like a detective type of very brutal type of detective character.
Mm.
And so, but yeah, but he has these powers of this Egyptian deity that he has this mission to protect and bring justice to people who travel under the moon or something like that in the comic books. And here it's something I think something different. But yeah, let's see how you and did you enjoy the first episode?
Yeah, man. I think it's the best written Marvel show to date, and it's probably better than a couple Marvel movies. This one episode just topped a bunch of movies for me. Just there's not a single Marvel show that can come close to this first episode. Like the whole series of uh, the cat the Falcon and the Winter Soldier uh, pales in compare like it nothing can compare to this freaking episode. Like WandaVision is terrible compared to this episode. It's this first episode was just so masterfully well written, and how they established the villain in the beginning. The very first shot is establishing the villain and who he is,
Yeah.
and that's how you establish a villain. You get a good sense of who he is, what he's about, and he doesn't even say a
And what
word.
he's willing to do
Yeah, exactly what he's willing to do, and that's so
to
crucial,
his
man.
own body.
Yeah, and it's just in no words where nothing was said. You just see this character action and just like what he does, and that's it. And then cut to here's our story, and then they start establishing key little elements about our main character and where he is, how what he's about, how his lifestyle is, and things like that, and things that he's accepted in his life, like norms. But then they start like giving you little clues about like maybe this is not right and this is not right, and the character that we're following doesn't even know it himself, but he just goes along with it because that's just his daily life and daily routine. Like he's just like, okay, something about this is just going on, so I gotta keep doing it. So it's like, man, they do. You go on this journey with this character and you're completely lost, but the audience is well aware of what's been happening to him and how things have been happening to him and things like that. So it's man, it's so brilliantly written, and how they tease you about the different personalities inside of him,
Mhm.
and how they take you on that journey. And it's the thing is like, so some shows they either rush to the main superhero thing, or they take too long and they don't even bother with the superhero thing until like the next episode. This one is just so well contained because they had to establish so much about the character and the different personalities in his head, and the the key things that he was searching for, like Egyptian elements and stuff like that. And um and how they did that, on how he would just like fall asleep for a brief moment and then wake up and he's somewhere else, or he would just like have a moment of he'll black out and then come to and he's holding a gun, or like he'll black out and then like everybody's dead around him kind of thing. And it's just they did such a masterful job of doing that. And we didn't like we black out with the character, but we know what's happening. It's
Yeah.
just it's so well established. And that's how you establish like the lore of a character. And they did it in such a tight window too, compared to these movies that just take like a whole freaking movie to establish a superhero character and his emotions, his affection, like all these different things, internal conflicts. No, they did this in 47 minutes, and they did it brilliantly and masterfully. I mean, like the people from Halo should just watch the show and take like a masterclass from these writers, because they just, man, it is so well done. And then at the very end, some people would be like, "Oh, I felt cheated. I didn't get to see the superhero." But the thing is that the superhero was always there. But
Yeah.
when they reveal him at the end, it's just so justified, so rewarding. Oh man, it was so masterfully executed. Oh man, I was just every every second, every frame was just something spectacular. And it wasn't dry. It wasn't trying to give me like a message. It wasn't trying to preach to me about anything. It was just a story about this guy, that everybody can identify with him at some stage in their life with him, and just how he's just like he's empathetic, like he's like he's just himself, like he wasn't trying to be anybody else, but yet he has these different personalities, and he's discovering these different personalities as he goes along, and it keeps taking him down this path that he's been down before, but he doesn't realize it. So it's so good, man. It is so good. I'd be surprised if anybody, like I'm more curious about the comic book fans and how they view it, because I think that's the only way that they could be like, oh, you know what, like, yeah, this sucks. Like, he's not really like this. He's like this. But I think for what little I know of the character, I think they did a really good job of establishing the split personalities and all that stuff, because I think that that's really hard to execute, and they did it in such a creative way and still keep us engaged. And man, I don't know. It was great. It was fantastic, man. I'm so they treated it as its own thing, and that's what I love about it. Like, it's not like a character that you've seen in any movies. This character is not established anywhere. It's just its own entity, and they gave him that. They weren't trying to make him like Captain America, or trying to shoot it like Iron Man, or try to give like a Spider-Man comedic spin. It was just his own thing, and they weren't trying to do anything else but Moon Knight and that. And they crushed it, man. They really did. Like, if it's 6 episodes like this, man, I'm super giddy. I'm excited for it, man. And this was so refreshing, especially after watching Halo. This is like this is the series to watch. Like, 100%, go watch it. Get Disney Plus just for these 6 episodes, and you won't regret it, because this first episode was just a masterclass. Just so well done. And yeah, such a brilliant job establishing the character, and I'm hungry for more. 100% hungry for more. They crushed it. 100% crushed it.
I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy the because it's very in the comic books. It's different. He doesn't have a personality. The personality of Stephen Grant in the comic books is totally different. Um, but I understand the changes because you wanna. This is a really strange. It's almost like Fight Club in the sense that he doesn't have, and this one doesn't have a narrator, but Stephen Grant is the eyes through we see the this strange world and what's happening to him. But at the same time, he's the hero, and but he doesn't know it yet. So I really like that way of showing the show.
Mm.
He's completely ignorant of he's not ignorant, but he knows something weird is happening to him. But as the villain too has accepted some things in his, how he wears sandals, like
Mm.
you see Stephen Grant like to accepting something through his house, like how he sleeps. He sleeps with 1 foot chained. He has sand around his bed. And he has a tape around the door. You know, something weird is happening to him. Even the beginning of the when you see the bad guy is doing, you know, I mean, the guy goes through tequila shots like he has to have a factory of just tequila shots.
Yeah.
But you know how he has this ritual, you know how to go out. So does Steven Grant to go to sleep. You know,
Yeah.
well, yeah, he has this ritual of chaining his as cleaning the sand and all that stuff.
It's a great connection. Yeah.
Yeah, so I really enjoy it, and what I really enjoyed is that it does not show any connection to the Marvel universe
Mm.
whatsoever. It looks like it's not even the same reality as the other Marvel shows. It's
Yeah.
completely clean. It's just this character and this weird thing he has, like, and how it affects his life. And and I really enjoy they changed how he because usually he just puts on the suit of Moon Knight. And this one it looks like something more supernatural to it.
Mm-hmm.
It just comes over him. The deity, the Khonshu, is looks incredible,
Yeah.
right out of the books, and how he speaking in his mind and stuff, and calling him an idiot. Like it's a
Mm.
very, it's a very abusive relationship in the comic books, and they're bringing it here. So, but yeah, I really love that there were there were action scenes, but they didn't show them. It was more of like the effects of when he changes to Mark Spector, who's a mercenary who knows how to fight, and then you see the he turns back and you see the effects of him and how Steven Grant is like what you know he's a bumbling fool, you know,
Yeah.
like, but I really like that they're touching in the element that he's not a fool, an idiot. He's just the brains or the not the brains of the operation, but the knowledge part of his mind,
Mm.
you know, because he knows all this stuff about the Egyptians and the deities. So no, you know, he's like the in Indiana Jones, you usually you have this bumbling fool following him who knows everything
Yeah.
about whatever secret it is. So that's basically that's Stephen Grant in this show. You know, he knows everything about the Egyptian stuff. Maybe Mark Spector doesn't know that because he's the muscle of the personalities of
Mm-hmm.
him. So it's something like Split, you know, like when uh, McAvoy has all these personalities and different voices, and you know he's trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. I read the comic books. I love the comic books. I really enjoyed the adaptation and the changes they did to it to the show. I really enjoyed this first episode. I'm probably gonna watch it again tonight. But I
Yeah.
want to see all the little details around there,
Mm-hmm.
especially when he's about to transform in the bathroom, and you see all these like hieroglyphics on the
Um,
projecting all around him.
yeah. Yeah.
I really like that. So the only thing is that I wish the design of Ethan Hawke's the character villain was a little more elaborate. He kind of looks like a regular Joe.
Yeah.
Kind of. I wish they cast somebody more exotic, like to fit the part.
Mm.
I'm not saying he's doing a bad job or anything because he looks he looks pretty like yeah I can talk to you, but I wish the tattoo of the crocodile with the balance weights
Mm-hmm.
whatever was more elaborate. It kind of looked cheap, something you buy in a store and just you
Yeah.
know it kind of I wish it was more Egyptian or more elaborate
Mm.
type of design. But those are little quips. I just wish that some you know if he's gonna be like this it's this battle between these entities. You know, you're seeing how this entity and that Ethan Hawke is serving is like kind of like a judgy type of goddess.
Mm.
Like and the one that Mark Spector serves or the Khonshu who's in there, he's more about protecting people. And so yeah, they're gonna bring deities now into the Marvel universe, so it'll
Yeah.
be fun.
Yeah. No, I think it's I think it's refreshing. I think it's a refreshing show, and you brought up a lot of good points. There's a lot of there's a lot of symbolism in the show that I really enjoy. Those small little moments. Like there's one when he's in the museum, and he turns around, and there's like the statue that's missing half a face, and he poses perfectly right there for a split second. You could see that he has like two personalities, and one of them is
Yeah,
Steven, and the other one we're still kind of figuring out, like Mark, because who we just learned, and there's maybe somebody else. um so it's just like little moments like that in the first episode that they do such a good job just establishing, who he is, what he's about, kind of thing. Even the villains, and the ending the ending to the episode was just so great because they ended in such a high note, and they get you
yeah. I
energized.
checked if it's episode 2 was there too. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
wait.
yeah, same here. Like but man, that's the beauty of it. Like this show, this show is going to be for the sixth episode. It's great that they just only released it. They're releasing it one at a time, because then this is like the water cooler kind of show. Like this is the one that you just stand up and you talk about. Like, did you see it? Did like, especially comic book fans. Halo, and the other note is just like they should have just released all of them. Everybody would have gotten everything out of their system a week ago, and that would have been it. But you know, anyways, I think Moon Knight is the show for this that's going to lead us into summer night, and I think it's the finally the first true show for Disney Plus. Like all the other ones are just kind of like side stories of these characters that have been established, so they don't they didn't do such a great job writing them. They're kind of like meh. I think Loki was pretty solid. WandaVision was okay. The Falcon Winter Soldier was just an atrocious thing. I didn't even bother with Hawkeyes yet, so maybe at one point I'll probably watch it. But this is like the true first original Disney Plus Marvel show. That's the way I see it, and it does not disappoint. Does not disappoint. So yeah, no man, I'm stoked. I'm stoked to watch it. I'm stoked to watch this show. So all right, well, ladies and gents, we have made it. We have made it. I want to thank you guys for hanging out. Primo, is there anything else? Any thoughts, concerns, queries? Anything that you'd like to add? Any shows you planning to watch?
Um, Moon Knight, Ozark when it comes out. Um, I'm almost at the end of the Godfather trilogy.
Oh, nice.
About maybe this weekend I'll watch the third one. So
Yeah.
watch the first two. I think we have to do a special show about those.
Oh, absolutely. I love me the Godfather. Yeah, we could totally do that.
Yeah, maybe invite somebody who loves the movie too. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, that'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah. We might. We
so
might.
yeah, yeah. Still playing Elden Ring.
Oh yeah.
You too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a kind of quiet week, but yeah, glad there's a show now on Disney. So
Yeah.
the reason to subscribe again to it. When it's over, I'll probably unsubscribe. I'm
Yeah.
gonna watch the Obi-Wan. So
Yeah. I don't know about Obi-Wan, but yeah, more sand, more sand. As far as me, like I'll, I'll definitely, watch Godfather 1 and 2 again. I might as well watch the third one. I don't watch the third one. Third one doesn't exist for me, but I'll probably watch it just for the
Then
sake.
you don't want to see the new edit?
Oh, I
The
do, I do, I do. But that's the only reason why I would watch the the Godfather 3, so that way I can compare the old one with the new one. That's the only reason. Other than that, I don't watch it for like pleasure or anything. I just watch the first two movies because that's just gold, man. Those are like the best movies of all time. Um, but yeah, just keeping on, watching. There's so much content out there. There's so many new movies coming out. I think Death of the Nile just came out on HBO Max. I plan to watch that. There's a new anime that's out on Netflix that is this. He's a bathhouse designer, in Roman times, but when he like dives into the water of the
Uh,
bathhouse, he travels to ancient Japan, and then he and
what the
yeah,
hell?
yeah, and then he dives back and he reappears in Roman times and uses the inspiration that he saw there to like to model and
What
build.
show is this?
This is on Netflix. This is I forget the title of it, but it's yeah,
What
it
lie when they pitched this show?
I don't know, but I think it's a manga. I think she's been writing
Yeah.
it for a while. Like, because at the end of the first episode, you get to meet the creator, and she's like, "Oh, I've been writing this project for so long, and I still write the stories because the character is so fascinating to me, even though I don't publish it." I'm like, dang. It's like put those out there, like let your fans read these things. So she's constantly like creating like these different scenarios for the character and stuff like that. And now it's an anime, but but yeah, it's quirky, you know. Like, so I've only seen the first episode, but there's yeah, I plan to dive into that. That's pretty much it. I mean, there's just, again, there's so much content, and I've been watching that HBO Max original about the LA Lakers, the rise of the LA Lakers, and that's
I haven't started that. I haven't started that.
man, that's been such a great show. But I'm biding my time to before we can like sit down and really like talk about it because the cinematography is probably one of the best film shows on TV right now. It's just I haven't seen anything that really compares to the creativity that this show brings to the table, with different types of film stock and things like that. So it's filmed with like 8 millimeters, 16 millimeter, Super 16, 35 millimeter, and then they alter between all these different types of film stock and stuff like that to film the show, and they do it so brilliantly. It's a well written show. It's catchy. It's real catchy. So, but yeah, that's kind of what's on my list. That's what I'm watching. Let us know at home what you guys are watching. Let us know in the comments down below. What do you guys think of any of the topics that we talked about today? Do you guys like Halo? Do you not like Halo? Let me know. How do you feel about Top Gun? How do you feel about Moonlight? Let us know in the comments down below because we would love to know. But from all of us to you, much love. God bless. And we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Adios.